Hello again. I'm back from my first round of screaming at the ocean and pissing off Poseidon, and today I have something I'd like to say in response to our dear old space mom.
Hello, people. That's not a question.
Hello, people.
Vauban rework. There's a good question. So we talked earlier in the stream about are we going to review frames, and we had a really interesting conversation just between myself and a couple players actually about like CC used to be king in Warframe. Like Vauban used to be the most played Bastille on nothing compared, and now it's all about damage, and it's like this weird realm where
it's like this thing we keep going up and down.
Yeah, because if something like Sanctuary Onslaught, that's really all about killing as fast as you can. So damage is king, and
so next event we'll have to make sure that CC is
well, I do think we should do some interesting emphasis on CC, not out of any bias with Nyx, but no. But we do have a list.
The frame you're making.
Yeah, we've been looking at I think between Vauban and Titania, those are the two most talked about right now from player chorus. Most recently, obviously, a lot of people are talking about Wukong as well.
Yep,
it's
I've heard those three is brought up many times.
So we'll see what we can do. As we said earlier, there's always.
Yeah, I think Pablo was mentioning that.
So why exactly is CC no longer top tier such as in the old days? I wouldn't say it's because dealing damage is strictly better, but rather because using CC just feels worse, especially if that's the only available option. Once upon a time Nyx and Vauban were among some of the most used frames in terms of crowd control usability, but that's clearly not the case anymore. The reason for this can be explained with two simple words. Power creep. For weapons, power creep can kind of be negligible, because there are literally dozens of weapons to pick from, and a few bad eggs don't seem to spoil the basket, right? However, if you take the same principle of power creep and push it onto warframes instead, then you begin to have a problem, since only 35 playable warframes exist, compared to the shitload of weapons we have. Every warframe is indeed unique in terms of what they can provide, but they all have a commonality, CC. Some frames can heal, others can endure countless bullets, and some can simply deal damage, but they all are capable of providing CC in some form. The warframes that are considered to be the best are the ones that are capable of doing multiple things at once, whether it be healing or dealing damage, or capable of just making the game easier. When I say this, warframes like Octavia, Harrow, Mirage, and Mesa might come to mind. What does any of this have to do with why CC is no longer king? Because of versatility. Even when you pick apart Vauban's and Nyx's abilities, at the end of the day all they can do is provide CC. Compare them to a warframe like Harrow who can provide CC as well as energy regeneration, higher damage potential and temporary invulnerability, and now you can sort of understand why Vauban and Nyx are such out-of-meta warframes, because all they can do is CC meanwhile other warframes do more than just CC. It's not because Vauban and Nyx are bad per se, but because there's not much reason to take them when a much better choice is available. You would think that because of armor scaling, CC would be much more valuable in order to combat the bullet sponge enemies that you might come across, but obviously this isn't true. Why? Because of how ludicrously durable enemies can get compared to you. Because of their CC-only kit, Vauban and Nyx are left with no method of staying alive other than run and gun, due to their natural squishiness. Other frames on the other hand don't suffer from this problem as much because they possess something that helps keep them alive, since their abilities are not CC only. Harrow can become temporarily invincible. Octavia can become temporarily invisible, thereby negating incoming enemy fire. Mesa can gain up to 95% damage reduction and prevent nearby enemies from attacking her. What can Nyx do? Become immune to all damage at the cost of rapidly draining her own energy and losing the ability to move?
Oh, that's nice.
To summarize, caster frames like Vauban and Nyx just feel like shit compared to the newer frames because their abilities limit them to doing only one thing. Having a CC-only kit prevents Vauban and Nyx from providing anything else of use to a team, and due to being caster frames, both Vauban and Nyx suffer from being bullet magnets, meaning that dying can become more frequent at high levels. To solve this, the most obvious answer is to just rework them so their abilities are more in line with today's meta, but a potentially better solution would be to just take out the worst parts of their kits and replace them with something brand new. For Vauban, I would suggest tossing out Trip Laser and Bounce and replacing them with non-CC abilities, such as a deployable turret, ammo dispenser, or shield. It really does not matter so long as it's something that gives Vauban value outside of the CC spectrum. For Nyx, the bare minimum would be to just toss out Psychic Bolts and replace it with something that's actually good. In other words,
Fix this shit! Now!
thank you for watching.